that's going on down there. They did tell me that they are entertaining the idea of having some co-ed adult softball down there on the big diamond. They talked to please Keith Southers about that, and his concerns with alcohol in the park down there. And according to our ordinance, our ordinance gives us the right to confiscate alcohol if we find it, and confiscate it out of the cooler if we find it. And Greg would be up for that, because he's had to make an arrest down there when we let the adults come down and play. Guys, that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. We're this close to having the Wilderness Trail finished. Caleb and Kim have done a tremendous job for us. We ended up with 90 cubic yards of mulch donated to us by Brown Tree Service. So we're this close to having it done. That's your update.
Thank you. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm requesting a stop sign be put at Rankin Drive in the Porter Canyon, because I live at 202 and I'm turning off it and I'll people just fly up in the hill and stop. So if there was a stop sign there, it would be a lot safer.
You said Lakeview in Vineyard?
Yeah, I live right on the corner. You got kids that goes down Monmouth and then you got girls that goes down Pitt. There used to be a stop sign right there. And all that hill at the bottom. My kid is the other one.
On.
Well, it's like, Rich House, like those are spears at the time. And that's the reason you look so right. That's a good one.
That's getting to be dangerous for you dollars, because people are just flying up through there. And there's stop signs every corner except the top.
I understand your concern on that, because I pull in and out of those roads quite often, but the thing you've got to consider is in the wintertime, a lot of people are going to need momentum going up that hill. Put the stop sign there, it's going to kill that. That's going to create a whole other issue in the future.
And it created another whole issue, right?
Well, I mean, I understand that, and people around here need to do the speed limit, but they quite often don't.
Not the speed limit there.
And that would be a good thing to go talk to the police department about, maybe having them come and set out there on radar, like some tickets. But the stop sign right there is really not a good idea as far as.
See, we have the same issue on Lakeview and Fleming.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, and that's the reason we don't have it. So your speed going up the hill in the winter, and not stand out and slide down the hill.
I don't think they have that.
I'd like to take a look how steep the hill is. Okay.
All right, well, we appreciate you, Pam. Does anybody else have anything? Go ahead, ma'am.
My name is Emily Cleary, and I live on Lakeview Drive. I'm not sure who I'm using this exactly, but I was told earlier utility office that I could ask for assistance with the utility bill. I bought my house about 8 years ago, and I have a son. I had about 14 years in the slave on last summer. On unemployment 6 months. I just recently got a new development hired. The problem was about a couple months ago, I went to see leak at the main, the meter in my yard on my side, and it was thousands of gallons of water. Seemed to just kind of go 1 month to, next thing I knew, it was over 500 and now it's in 1,000, or it was. I didn't know how I would go with the legal fence. I just didn't know how I would go about getting any kind of assistance or.
So if it didn't go down the drain, it just leaked down the yard off the meter,
Yes.
we have in the past, just charge whatever it cost us to treat that water so we can recover our cost back.
And no sewer costs.
Yeah, it's in
Zero
the
dollars.
ditch.
Before I get to the sewer
Never
question,
have.
but I explained to her within, that's what we can do, but to go beyond that, she would need to address the council. So
So
that's
just
why
like normal, the cost of water like we had before.
Right.
You know the numbers, Scott?
I do not right now, I can illustrate those with me, I do not tonight.
Would it be possible to just, for the council to approve a credit in the same manner that we have approved them in the past for other customers, and then you and Arlene calculate the numbers and send a credit?
So what we're saying is, rather than charging what we try, regular rate, we're just gonna charge you what it costs us to send it to you, period.
Right.
Which will reduce your amount, right, Scott? Quite a bit.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't have those numbers in front of me, but, the village clerk, I can send her. I assume they have your contact information.
Yes, and if I didn't find any documentation anymore.
Okay.
Now, just so you understand for the future, say you have a toilet running that's going down the sewer, then
That's all.
we're unable to do that, correct?
Sure,
Still have- still have to prove that.
Yeah.
Is this the May, June billing cycle or April, May?
I think it might go as far back as April. This is when I was first told about it, but I knew it wasn't in my house, and then I just kind of forgot about it, so I was mowing up front, and I saw it sitting water, almost got stuck in it. That's when I realized, I guess it
I
was an
think
issue.
partial, cheaper, partial, real overlap.
It'll be more than twice the normal bill. Right.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We need to make a motion on that.
Yeah.
Scott. I'll make a motion that we do the normal adjustments for the cost of the lady's, water.
Yeah. And
Yes.
Motion by Mr.
Okay, votes,
Yes.
yes, staying.
yes. It was for her.
Yes.
So, ma'am,
Yes.
we'll reach out to you tomorrow and go over those numbers with you.
Yeah, I really have it.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you so much.
All right. Anybody else other than the rates? Go ahead.
I was wondering if we could get a meeting with our law enforcement and some representatives from the camp to go over any, I'm a little concerned with these detainees coming. I mean, I am so close to the back fence of their, the camp that I can see it from my house. I just want to have somebody come down and,
Are you in Memphis Lakes?
huh?
Do you live in Memphis Lakes?
Yes, I live right next to Eddie's.
Okay.
So, I used to be the executive assistant to the command staff at Atterbury. I still am in frequent contact with them. At some point, there will be a meeting that happens.
Level 1 prison where they're allowed to leave the fence area and go do other jobs and stuff, but this, these people are gonna try any opportunity they can to escape from where they're at.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get some more information.
Yeah. Once we have more information and we're allowed to distribute that information, then we will. All right. Anybody else? Anything? Okay. We're gonna continue on, with our regular meeting until Steve Rock gets here, who's already, he's pulling in, so. Oh, okay. Okay, so, yes, I make a motion, for approval of regular, meeting minutes for June 16th, 2025, July 11th, 2025 executive memorandum, and July 11th, 2025 special meeting.
Second.
Votes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Greg Southers is not here this evening, so we're gonna skip over his report. Scott,
Am I supposed to stall with the kids here, or what?
Dan.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, okay, let's just skip down to, Erica. Go ahead.
Asking for approval for claims, for general, amount of $228,060.
Steve,
He's here.
hey Scott, it's sort of getting going. Congratulations on the 85%.
Finally, got it back on the
Got
way.
85% efficiency rate.
What, that's a new hire.
Yes.
Yes,
So do I
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're up.
Okay, so I'm going to close at 6:29.
No, you don't have to.
No?
Just open. You don't have to.
Oh, okay,
Just-
all right, so
it's
we're
just-
gonna
it's
open the
just-
public hearing. Sorry. I thought we had to close it.
What?
Policies.
Run back.
Pardon, sir?
You want more room to run yourself back?
That's fine. Considering it, sir, I'm worried find a lot of traffic. My fault, so I apologize.
Thank you.
Thank you. This public hearing on the rates and charges, public hearing, as Steve has told you, is a requirement for raising rates and charges. We're looking at raising rates and charges only on the waterworks, not from the sewer works, storm anything else. So that's a much smaller energy bill. Currently, the waterworks for the average customer in Princess Lakes at 4,000 gallons is $33.81. It's the water bill, and they use 3,000 gallons and 27.44. Yes, sir.
We cannot hear you, but
Okay. This is the public hearing for the water rate increase. Public hearing is a requirement, state of Indiana, for raising rates and charges. Just identifying what the current rate is for a water customer in Princess Lakes, and it runs anywhere from $27 approximately for 3,000 gallons to $34 for 4,000 gallons. The reason the town is looking at raising rates and charges because we have a water storage tank we have to build that's currently falling down, according to Mr. Blackwell, and your engineers have been through here to recommend what needs to be done. We've got a $4 million project that for the storage tank, and we're borrowing the money from the Indiana State Revolving Loan Fund, which is the cheapest funding source available to the town. It's the what we call tax exempt municipal bonds, and we're giving a 4.6% interest rate for a 35-year loan term. That's below what the current market rate would be for a 35-year loan term for what they call a AAA credit. We get the benefit of the state of Indiana's AAA credit rating, which we did not get on our own, which is the reason that the Indiana State Revolving Loan Fund financing is the best financing. Also, with the Indiana State Revolving Loan Fund, there's no transaction fee. If we had to go to a bank or had to go to an underwriter someplace in what they call the open market, we'd be paying somewhere around 1% as a fee. We don't have that in the State Revolving Loan Fund. And we're also used to this type of credit. A small town in Indiana, they do about $1 billion of financing a year in Indiana, almost all water and wastewater projects. They're very familiar with this. So it's a process we're going through. We have a scheduled closing date at the end of August, and a few days later, we'll be able to close on our construction bids and start construction on the project.
So, this is the public hearing on the rate increase. There's been a rate ordinance that's been introduced at the last meeting. And
That would have to be introduced tonight.
be introduced tonight, I'm sorry, but, okay, be introduced tonight, and, is this a public hearing as well?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm clear on the process, I don't misstate anything, so thank you. If we look at page 31 of the exhibit that I put out, the state of Indiana and Title 8 of Indiana Code states what can be included in a water rate. You're not regulated by any state agency other than state law for water rates and charges. And the things you can include in a water rate would include operation and maintenance, taxes, it's called expenses and replacements, is a short-term asset replacement, debt service on current debt service on any new debt, it's called debt service reserve, which is a requirement of all revenue bond issues, and then those are all cash and cash outs. There's a thing called return utility plant that has longevity rates. So we have advertised, or we're looking at a 18% rate increase on that 27 to 33 dollar bill that the average customer has. So it's about $5 or $6 on the average bill. So we're looking at on a rate increase. And I've shown in columns, the last three columns there, the different amounts of rate increase. We're talking about an 18%, but if you want, we can look at one of the other percentages at the bottom. There's a 15, there's a 12. All those would enable you to close on your loan with the Indiana State Revolving Funds. But the other ones, other than 18%, would just provide less money moving forward, shorten the longevity of the rate increase, and provide less money for Scott to replace short-term assets in the future. But they're still workable. I think the recommended increase, and it's one that Anthony suggested at the last meeting, was the 18% rate increase. So we're here today for the council to decide and vote on what percentage of rate increase they'd like to move forward. And I'm here to answer questions, as is your engineer and your superintendent.
Scott, anything else?
Excuse me?
Anything else?
No, well, other than, obviously, we don't take this light-hearted. The last thing we want to do, I personally, is one of the last things I want to do in this world is raise the rates. But I do feel like we have a bit of a story to tell. The last time Steve did the race, I believe would have been 2018, and was obviously previous to anybody thinking of the COVID virus with us. And
Actually lowered rates in 2020.
yeah. Okay.
Is it lowered?
Lowered. 18, we raised them, we were required to lower them in 2020 because the utility receipts tax was eliminated.
Yes,
The state of Indiana
that's
raised
exactly
its
right.
lower
Yes.
utility receipt tax. in
So,
2020.
so the way that so we obviously have endured a lot of costs going up on us, inflation's hit all of us. And we've been able to absorb this for a few years, because basically we track what we produce water-wise and what we sell. So we have to this is all documented with EPA and the state of Indiana. We have to pretty much account for every gallon of water that leaves our place. And we've improved the efficiency over the last 5 years from the low 60s, from what we were producing to sell was in the 60s. And we're now averaging up in the 80s. There's a lot of things. We replaced meters, we try to make long-term repairs instead of Band-Aids. I can go on and on, but there's a lot of ways that we try to improve things to get that efficiency up there. And by saving the money, by that efficiency being, just basically it brings our costs down. We're working to produce less water. And that's how we've been able to make it this last few years, was by the efficiency. Now we've reached where we're standing in the 80s now. I don't want to say we've plateaued because we've always are going to strive to do better. But the truth of it is, we've pretty much gone through this and we've eaten all the inflation that we can the last few years. And I hope everyone understands we tried to keep this at as minimal as we have. So I guess,
Well,
yeah, I
you
guess,
have a project, you have the history of the project.
and,
And the reason we're here tonight is
Well,
because we
it's
counted, but the project is what it requires.
we have a 1 million gallon underground storage that was built in 1942 as part of Camp Atterbury. It has a wood structured roof on it, 120 foot by 120 foot wood structured roof. It's not safe. It's not safe to walk out on anymore. John did a lot of work to look at, would it be better to replace the roof to this structure? And then when we started getting into that, there's so many unknowns, with basically the foundation of that. And then it basically come out in the end, it's cheaper to build a new storage tank in front of it than it is to put a new roof on that old structure. So that's the second part of what, and we produce about 1 million gallons a day, is pretty much what we produce. So, I'm sure you can imagine that if that 1 million gallon reservoir, if that roof collapsed, the kind of position we would be in trouble. And that's all there is to it. So that, therefore, it's not just I want everybody to know, it's not a want, it's a need, and it's a necessity for the future of utilities.
Do you perceive the efficiency going up once we get the new in?
I do, because we know for sure that it's leaked for years.
And our efficiency rate should go up.
Even higher, yes. It should, Charlie, good point.
Scott made a good point about inflation. You know, they stopped Boston, raised rates and charges in 2018, about 7 years ago. And if you look at the 18% rate increase on just the water works you're talking about, that's less than 2.5% a year, which is less than what inflation has been for the last 7 years each year.
Well,
So,
I've done a study of all of our utilities, or pretty much of all of our costs. And, you know, we pay electric bills, gas bills, supplies, just like everybody else. And our increases, some of them are quite unbelievable when you really do sit down and look how. And like I said, we have ridden this out as long as I feel like we safely could. And it's time to have to do it.
Some of our costs went up, what, 145%?
Well, like chlorine is one that just pops out in my head. It's gone up 100% in 4 years. And trust me, we shop these things. You know, but 100% increase on chlorine. I mean, that some of the pipe that we have to purchase, there's one of the normal 6 inches gone up 151% since January of 2020. So we have done our homework here. We have statistics galore, but.
Are there grants out there to support this or?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Grants?
Grants, we always look for grants. In the past, we've been fortunate in getting grants. We don't qualify for OPRA, the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, when we looked at it this year. The other grant that we'd be looking at would come from the Indiana State Revolving Loan Fund, and we don't qualify for them this time because our user fees are so low. Our post-project user fees, they're looking at, you'd only need assistance if your user fee was $60 or more. And that's what they're seeing is typical out there for a waterworks, just water, $60, and we're so far under that we we're not eligible for any grant money. We do get a better interest rate from them or a loan than we're ever be able to find on our own. So we're saving money and using that agency from them, but if there aren't any grant monies that would be available. The town's very good and has a very good relationship with Camp Atterbury. And they're always talking to Camp Atterbury about trying to get money into the grants. And they're currently talking to Camp Atterbury.
Well, we're currently working on a grant with, we just submitted it 2 weeks ago for a Department of Defense grant. And it's a no-match grant. But, I mean, it's a long shot to get it. But yes, to answer your question, we're always looking for sources such a thing.
We've got a lot
I'm having trouble hearing
Years ago, we got a $10 million grant to build, which is phenomenal. It's the largest grant ever got out of the state of Long Island. And they tell me they don't do that anymore. They've never done what they did for us, way back then for the water. And, but when we talked to them this year, there was no grant money available for Princess Estates for this project. And the grant money that Scott's currently talking to the Department of Defense about is for an additional project.
And one of the things, one of my notes that I have here statistically is that we have received over the last 4 years some smaller grants. For example, we received a $100,000 grant which helped us purchase a new pull-behind vac. One of our portable generators was purchased by grant money. A utility truck with a crane on it to pull the 600 or some pumps that we have around town. You know, those were all, and that is part of how we've kept, you know, these rates where we have the last few years. I mean, there's a lot of factors to that, but we do reach out for any grants that we feel like we can qualify for.
Why are waiting 50 years to even replace it? If it was starting to fail, you're starting to see leaks in it. Why not identify that earlier than now waiting until now? How can we see the engineering report to know that isn't equipment? I'm not saying your letter.
Sure.
The transparency of what the state of it is, because as of today's date, if that was built in 1942, that's 83 years old.
They started looking into replacing it. And to keep your costs low all these years is why we didn't build several $million project years ago, because we raised the rates back then. So we kept them low this long, but now it's, you know, we got to do something.
Yeah, but I think I'm sorry, I'll finish real quick, just a quick sentence on it. If you identify an issue and you just keep putting a Band-Aid on it and a Band-Aid, that Band-Aid is only going to last so far. It's going to create an even bigger issue, which it now has, and then now you can go.
Okay, to answer, starting at the beginning of your question, for one, I understand your frustrations, but that's also the situation that I walked in here and I've tried to correct. For the last 5 years, we have diligently tried to fix these things that you're discussing. And obviously with a municipality this size, you're not gonna fix everything overnight. So we did, start in 2020, we made a priority list every year of what we try to achieve. And that priority list, we've checked things off that priority list. And in my eyes, this is now the most important thing. It's not been neglected. Let me almost say for the last 5 years, it has not been neglected. We have actually been working, John and I have been working on this project for probably close to 2 years, trying to lay all the groundwork that you have to be able to do a project this size. But, so it was a matter of priority, and that's why it is down to that.
Because you send out something and say, hey, we're going to bring raise. Wait, why? Even though it's a town hall.
Absolutely.
If there's been a report done, I feel like there should be some transparency. Let us kind of see the documents. Let us see how important that is, because we can only take words. We got to have concrete evidence. Pictures of it didn't happen, sort of thing.
Should we request all of the engineering reports, all of the documents, all the studies? You simply request from the town anything you want to see, and we'll provide it to you. Always, that's always the case.
Before we continue with questions, I just wanted to say that try to keep it 2 minutes per person so that everybody has an opportunity to get their thoughts and questions out. If you hear a question, try not to repeat the question, and then just one comment question per person so that everybody has the opportunity to express their feelings and questions. Go ahead. So say your name and address. I'm so sorry.
Peggy Hill, 909 Lakeview.
Okay.
My question is, you're saying 18% rate increase, which is the top, correct? Because you said 18, 15, or 12, and all three would be viable.
No, it's not the top. No, we can go less years and go higher. We can go less years and go higher and pay it off quicker. No, that's kind of the middle.
Yeah, that's my recommendations of all the things that we could do. And, you know, I'm going the longest long term. We could certainly do a 25-year long term, a 20-year long term, a 50 long term. all those raised the rates and charges, more than the 35-year loan term we're looking at, which is the longest loan term we're eligible for. But I just gave 3 recommended rates. One, we don't want to be pure cash in, cash out. We want to have a little money coming in for contingencies, for emergencies, for things that happen that we can't predict. We also want to have what they call a good balance sheet. So when the lending agencies look at us, you know, they say, oh, this utility's operated efficiently and well, and we don't have any concerns about lending their money because we know that they do the things that need to be done, raise rates when they have to, so that they'll be able to meet their debts and their obligations. So, of the 3 options I gave the council here, certainly 18% is the highest one. The reason we talked about to start with is we have to advertise for the public hearing at one rate, and we can lower the rate and not having to re-advertise. If we have a higher rate, we have to re-advertise, wait another 10 days. So we're starting at 18 and going down. Again, it's a $5 or $6 rate increase on the average.
Okay, but we all know it's not ever going down. We started out with municipal bonds to set up the sewer water system here and get rid of all septic tanks, with being told that after it was paid off, our rates would start coming down.
Modernization of their plants too. Travago's a good example of that.
Keep in mind also that at the beginning of this, the average percentage that this is going up, or what.
Bill.
I was going to cut you off, but let's.
Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. Go ahead, name and address, please.
Linda Hilmer on 12 East Roselle. I have 2 questions. What is the total estimated cost of this project?
$4,034,000.
And what part, are we increasing our rates to places like Cordray and Sweetwater that buy?
Okay, very, very good question. This is what's called an across-the-board rate increase. All customers of the utility are getting the same percentage increase.
So they would share in this
Yes.
12, 15, 18%.
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Terry Mayor, 701 Westover. I didn't hear earlier, I couldn't hear, what's the volume of the storage tank that we're talking about?
1.5 million.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Oh,
and
go ahead.
another little point there is that, you know, there again, we are not just looking at the past. We've tried to correct things, we've tried to bring them up to date, and now we're also trying to look to the future. The cost was so minimal to go from 1 million gallon storage to 1.5 million gallon storage, which should obviously protect us in the future, that we chose that it was much more cost effective to go from 1.5.
So we're talking about something that basically twice the size of the water tower?
Yes. Yes. It's roughly 100 feet in diameter, 35 foot tall, to give you kind of a ballpark.
Not a window.
No. No. No.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am?
It serves all of our customers. It would serve all the customers. Yes, Trafalgar, Cordray, all Princess Lakes, all rural. All Camp Mountain, it affects everyone in our system.
So all the costs, it's called our budget, we put together the cost for the future, our budget, and what we're gonna spend, and that includes operation, maintenance, and taxes, our short-term asset replacement program, so we can fix things with the 20-year useful life, for that budget for that. Debt service on the 2020 bonds, debt service now on these new bonds, a thing called the debt service reserve, which is a requirement of issuing the debt that we have to fund, and then a margin so that when inflation happens, we don't have to raise rates again next year. Rates are supposed to last 3 to 5 years, so then we come up with our budget and we look at what we've been collecting from all of our customers, and the difference is what we have to collect, have to raise rates to collect again. So we are looking at all the revenues from all the customers. We're also looking at all the expenses to serve all the customers, And all the customers, including Trafalgar and Havre and Clover Sweetwater, are getting the same percentage increase that the residents of town are getting. So everybody's paying their fair share.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead.
When do you anticipate finishing this project?
John, you probably know that timeline better than I.
Yeah, the loan closes in late August, so we'll get a notice to proceed shortly after that from the contractor. It's 450 days is the schedule for completion.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
One other little tidbit here. Another thing about, John figured out a way to be able to build the new tower, or the new storage tank in front of the existing reservoir, so we could actually run the old until just a very quick switchover phase, by building the new one like that. And if not, if we would have had a year without that old reservoir, it would have made things very dicey to keep everybody water. So this, John really goes back to where we've been working on this for well over a year and planning and trying to decide what's best for everyone.
Sir, I see your hand back there.
Yeah, Jim Young, 196 East Hoover. I know he didn't do it, because it's called preventive maintenance. That takes years, and you gotta stick with it, to keep it. I'm wondering, we own the water company, right?
Yes, sir.
I know we do. And, why don't they charge Port of Sweetwater more, the Founder more than $5, and us less because we own it? That's not good business. And you don't charge your own self as much or more than you would your customer.
Yeah, so, that's a little of a complicated answer. We've got different rates for different types of customers because not all customers use all of the system. We've got a distribution system for the water that serves the town proper, and then we've got the lines that go out to connect to Atterbury and Cordery and Trafalgar, and then we sell them water at a contract rate that we have with them. That contract rate is going up the same percentage that the rate for everybody else is going up. So to charge them a different rate and to stay out of courts, as Lee will tell you, we evaluate the rates and we try to stay in what's called an across-the-board increase. At some point, there's been what's called a cost of service study. It's a special type of study that determines the actual cost of serving each separate customer class. And one thing we want to do is do not want to drive large customers off the system. We drive large customers off the system by trying to collect too much money from them. Then we can get involved in lawsuits, and we can also, if we drive them off the system, it means everybody else, our costs stay essentially the same, but because our fixed costs stay the same, because all our assets are staying the same, but our revenues would go down because we're losing a customer. So to make this as simple as possible, we are doing an across-the-board rate increase, which would deem to be fair over so those customers would share in the same percentage increase. But no, we're not charging them more for a variety of reasons. One being, they don't use the entire system. They only use some of the storage system, all over the distribution system, and the collection and treatment system. But they don't use the full distribution system here, which is a very significant cost. That's all the line underground that serves all of Princess Lakes. Does that help give you? You agree with?
You tell me. Very good.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else have anything new to add?
I'm Caitlin Turkey, and I live at 910 South Andover Road on the first house in Princess Lakes. And my boyfriend and I, we actually pay through Cordery Sweetwater. So will we get a letter or something saying that our rates will increase too, or?
So you're on Cordery Sweetwater?
Yeah.
We can answer
Yeah,
that.
since we can't, since we don't know what they're going to do with this. I guess to say it would be, but they have very stringent things that they have to follow, just like we did. Like, you know, if you were on our system, we would have mailed you a letter out if you weren't in town that explained things. But I shouldn't have jumped in on
Well,
that.
no, that's right. I've spoken with the attorney for the Conservancy District, who is aware, notices were all sent. I think that's probably why you're aware of this hearing, right? Either the letter or...
No.
Oh, no, you're in it, you wouldn't have gotten them directly from us, sorry. They are aware of it. We've had conversations. What he said to me was they were working on a rate increase ordinance of their own. I think that means that they're going to increase rate. We don't have any control over that.
Okay, I was just curious, because I thought it was just like a Princess Lakes thing, but since Princess Lakes supplies the refrigerators for Fowler, I wasn't sure if we'd be affected by it or not.
You will.
Because we live in Princess Lakes, our registration's for Princess Lakes, but we don't even pay the water for Princess Lakes, so it's very confusing because our house sits in Johnson County, and then there's a small section of our yard.
Here is the most, if your volumetric charge is less than the minimum, you pay the minimum. If your volumetric charge is above the minimum, you pay based on volumetric charge. So, you don't have like a set baseline. There's no base charge, there is a minimum charge. If your bill will not go under, but all of your consumption will be based on the volumetric schedule. And when you compare that to the minimum charge, if your volumetric calculation is above the minimum, you pay the volumetric calculation. If your volumetric calculation is below the minimum charge, you pay the minimum. The minimum charge currently, it's different for the size of meter you have. Right now, it's $22.30. So, storm charge here, fire hydrant, and you got 3 bills on that. Water here. There's no increase in the sewer portion charge. The sewer portion charge is the larger portion of the bill.
And we went through, the billing clerk just makes notes for me, but if you take these calculations, a 3,000 gallon minimum user will go $3.94.
That makes good sense.
A minimum 3,000 gallon user in our system will go up $3.94 and that's the 18%. And then a 4,000 gallon, average user would go up, $6.47. That's two numbers we put together to give everybody an idea. That's it, that's happening 80%.
If your car's worth giving grant money to communities that have a water bill that they think needs help, and that level is over $60, and we're at 34 here, so we're way under what they think any community would have. So you're talking about people moving out, they gotta move someplace, and when they move someplace, they're probably gonna find a water and sewer bill that's higher than what we're paying. If you're talking about sewer, I'm seeing a lot of sewer bills, and we're talking about water here, we're talking about sewer, people brought up sewer before, you say it's all the same bill, comes in your same bill. I've seen lots of just sewer bills over $100 a month for a residential user, and I haven't seen that, 2 or 3 years ago, that would be extremely unusual, and now it's becoming very commonplace. So everything's increasing, and Scott's doing a great job in trying to keep costs low here, and the council's doing a great job in trying to not increase rates and charges. And I believe that if anybody was looking at moving into Princess Lakes, they'd look at your rates and charges and find them very affordable compared to other communities.
Thank you. Okay, so I think we're gonna close the public forum.
Yes, I got one thing.
business item to talk about this.
Well, we can close the public hearing.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, we're not closing the meeting, it's closing the public hearing.
I'm sorry,
Question,
okay,
John, number 12 East Roselle.
That's an easy number to say, so that tank alone would be 1.5 day storage.
I don't anticipate the ordinance being finally adopted tonight, but I think in order to know procedurally what you can do, are you at a point where you are willing to take action on the percentage of the rate increase, take action on what the new rates will be? If so, I would ask for a motion, second, and a vote, whether you want to adopt the 18% or the 15% or the 12%, if you're at a point where you're ready to decide that. And then I think down later in the meeting, we'll do some legislative business with regard to the ordinance, bond ordinance.
okay.
I make a motion for the 25-year loan, 18%. So I guess a 25 or a 19.
Let me say it back to you. You're saying that on a 25-year term, the rate would not exceed
18%.
what we advertised as an 18% increase on a 35-year term.
Yes, sir.
Okay, everybody understand that? Okay. And with that being said, we wouldn't, unless you decide to go over and above that, we would not need to re-advertise and would not need to have the public hearing over again, because we will ultimately, we would not present to you a rate that exceeds the highest rate that was advertised for this public hearing, right? So you have some flexibility here, and I think that we're fine not adopting the rate ordinance until the August 18th meeting. That's what we figured out, right? Although Max seems to want the bond ordinance adopted tonight, which I guess we can, but I don't know why that needs to be adopted. So probably October?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah, because of the consumption occurring on and after, the next billing cycle that comes in after the August first.
Probably, yeah.
So my question is, how do you go from 35 to 25 and keep it at 18%?
Yes.
Just less money than we're gonna have for future projects.
And the reason is that we take the money out of the longevity portion of the rate schedule. So, as in Indiana, we have certain items through the Indiana code, Title 8 Indian code, that we use, that we can include our rates in their operation, maintenance, taxes, working capital, extensive replacement, debt service on existing debt service on new debt service reserve on the existing and new debt, payment blue tax, which we have a payment blue tax here, and then those are all cash in, cash out. So the last category, what the state of Indiana calls return on plant, is an inflation provision. And I usually use 3 years of inflation. I think we're here at 2.5%. So I'm taking money out of longevity of rates to lower the I think within that 18% rate increase at a 25-year loan term. A 25-year loan term would have a higher annual debt service than a 35-year, just like if you got a 20-year mortgage, it's a lower payment. So I'm borrowing money from one category to move it into the other, but we'd still be able to close at that 18% rate.
Scott, your opinion? I know we talked about this a lot.
Yeah, I'm just like the concerns in the audience here. I mean, I think the same way. I mean, I want to pay these things off. I don't have any intention of dragging them out forever. But Brian, on this,
It's crazy. So I have a notice of award for the contractor, just because I think the closing was really late August, so as soon as I know that the closing goes through, I don't get this notice of award, so we don't take a chance of going past 90 days. So I'm asking for your approval of this notice of award tonight, so as soon as we vote on the fund, that can finish the contract.
So you'll hold it to?
I will hold it until, as soon as he tells me the funding good. Because we're right up against the 90-day deadline. It goes beyond that, and there's different wage rates that apply, and the contract, we're going to ask for a change.
Six.
Mid-Atlantic storage.
Mid-Atlantic. You need a motion, accepting the bid for Mid-Atlantic Storage and awarding the contract. Right?
Yeah.
Make a motion, leave this in.
And authorize Lindsay to sign. Yeah, authorize Lindsay to sign.
I'll say.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. This might rise. And the guys, yeah, they'll better not do it, but, because, I mean, it really is different.
Yeah.
What hell it happened, when it, I mean, you got somebody who walks out of right and, stays waiting for this to
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Scott, do you have anything else to say? Oh my God, okay.
I tried to give you guys those statistics to work off of, because I know you get hounded probably more than I get hounded about things and stuff, so if you have any questions about all the statistics, I think it's very, especially, the one that compares, that's the most current customer rates within our area. I don't remember what page it is, but pay particular attention to that if you would, and see where Cordray is, Sweetwater, Trafalgar, places like that, and some of them are close to double than ours on the expenditure. So, I hope you take a look at that. Like I said, I know it's quite confusing, but I've got so much information that I try to pack in there so you guys have it, but on board. There's some discretion there. It's a bit gray. I've talked to Lee a couple times. It's been turned over, our insurance is dealing with it and all that, but I figured you guys were aware of it, but, that is, working with insurance companies on it, so. I want to give a kudos to all our people, because we had our 3-year sanitary sewer inspection survey on the water, and that's where they literally come in, kind of like say Board of Accounts. They go through all their paperwork, they go to every single building we own, site, and we got cited for 5 minor deficiencies, and they were extremely minor, and we, Jason corrected them within a matter of about 24 hours and sent our response back, so everything's good there, but I hope you guys understand that those 5 minors that's nothing. I mean, that's about as good as it gets. So, and everybody really, the nice thing about them, they actually even tell you when they're coming. So, but everybody jumped in and just, we spit polished everything we could, and it really went well, I thought. Decent grant, we got it turned in, everything was submitted, it's been validated by, the Department of Defense, and now it's just said, wait, was September. I know it's a long shot, but I really do think we have our best shot yet, but
And this is the one that we've applied for.
this is the third time.
Got it.
Third time's charm, I'm hoping. So, we'll
Do
see.
you think the effect on housing,
I can't, that sure can't help us, it sure has to help us, Kevin, I'm saying it wouldn't hurt any. Just the whole high ice thing and all that. I mean, it brings more national attention to Camp Atterbury computer. So that all that's been redone, and that's where Atterbury covered the majority of that cost, but then, the Jason has really babysat that project. He's really, he's stepped it up the last couple of years. I've really seen him grow in that role. I'm still trying to work on getting these pumps. I think I'm going to be able to get this deal with American Pump where we get the pumps about $300 cheaper, but that's still kind of negotiation. The power outage, obviously, we had a lot of calls on, because when everybody was out, the power comes back on. We had 2 portable generators set up to where we could go and try to hot wire, basically, into control boxes and try to run them. It was a slow process, but we did what we could, basically. We ran around, Like I said, we did what we could. If someone called and said it's backing up in the basement, of course, we're down there trying to call it out. So. But anyway, I know that's kind of a quick thing. I was going to mention tonight, though, I'm to the point, I don't even know how long I've been doing this now, but without an assistant superintendent. And I probably will be coming to you guys next month, and I mean, I want to promote within it. It's not like I'm not creating a position or anything like that. But I think it's time, enough time gone by. And somebody else needs to know some of these things, but I just wanted to give you guys the heads up tonight. I'll probably be presenting that to you next week or month. So, other than that, I know that's kind of quick, but I don't think it quite hurt your feelings. But if you have questions, please ask.
Right, question?
I'm just impressed with that 85.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
hope we can hang on to it.
All right. Attorney?
Yeah, I need you to, I've got the, bond ordinance from our bond council related to the project. It's 68 pages, I brought 2 copies. It's the same bond ordinance that we've seen for as long as Steve and I have been doing this. It doesn't change. It is a necessary procedural step in the town incurring the debt. At some point tonight, I've been asked whether you would be willing to adopt ordinance 2025-07. It's an ordinance of the town of Princess Lakes authorizing the project, the construction of the project, and the issuance and sale of revenue bonds to provide funds for the payment of the costs related to that project. I can talk more about it if you like. Steve knows a lot about it. If you have questions, I assume that you all did not want the whole 68-page ordinance.
Can you get that in mind?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Put your earbuds in. Listen to this thing.
Audiobook.
So you need a motion?
Dishes.
The motion.
It's 2025.
07.
Second motion for me? Yeah. I
Is this
second.
adopting or it just introducing?
Well, it's adopting because we can tonight if we've got 5 members present. In order to adopt it tonight, we need the unanimous consent of all 5 of you to introduce and adopt it at the same meeting, and we need the affirmative vote of 4 of you to adopt